Our City midfielder Zac Smith has sadly suffered a recurrence of the ACL injury that has kept him out of action for the past year, just as he was ready to make his long-awaited return to action for the Romans. His insurance is unable to pay out. With no football income currently and a lengthy waiting list for NHS surgery, Zac has turned to crowdfunding to help get him the operation he needs to save his football career. I caught up with the midfielder for an update. Zac, how are things?
Struggling, to be honest. I think frustration's the biggest word that comes to mind. Just been such a long road. I thought eventually, I could see the end, and to hear what was said from the surgeon this week has really been a bit of a step back and kick in the teeth, to be honest. When I thought I was just going to get back to playing, I thought everyone that knows me knows I just want to be out there, and it's the one thing I can't do right now, and it's just a bit frustrating, really. Very frustrating.
How's it impacting you and your life, just generally, things like walking?
Physically, it's tough. It's been quite challenging doing day-to-day activities, working, and I work in schools with children that might need extra support, and some of them may be a flight risk or something that it means I wouldn't be able to do that, because obviously I can't run after somebody or move very well, and it's a bit painful. It will end up swelling up and stuff, so being on my feet all day is tough. I've not managed to do as much since the injury, so being self-employed is impacting me financially as well, and it's just more the unknown of where do we go from here. Obviously, I've spoken to the surgeon about surgery, and hearing that it would require 2 surgeries this time, being a lot more financially, is really tough with no income coming in, and just more, like I said, the unknown of not knowing what's going to happen next, if I'll be able to get the surgery I require to even get back to work, or not, let alone get back to play football.
I mean, for those unaware, it's a recurrence of what happened. It was a year ago Sunday, the Boreham Wood game. Did you know at the time this is bad?
I think inside I did, but I didn't want to believe it. I remember falling, standing straight back up, thinking, this can't happen again. The whole way through my recovery period, I thought the worst thing I could go through again would be to re-rupture it, when I've worked so hard to get back fit, and I felt really fit. I'd done all the testing. Strength-wise, I was very equal in both legs. I was fit. The most frustrating thing for me is that it was going to be my first game back. And yeah, just like you said, having been through it already for a year, last year at Boreham Wood, I thought that was the toughest thing I would have come across. But now, having to go through it again, and it being even longer this time, I mean, best case scenario could be talking, at least a year and a half. And just to even hear that I've already had a year without football and another year and a half without football, best case scenario, and it's just beyond anything I ever thought would be the case.
Worse, because it sounds like, was it just something innocuous?
Yeah. I mean, here at Swerton, and just warming up for everything I do, any other game or training session, I've just tried to move the ball out of my feet, and it being quite sticky on the day, just happened to put all my weight through the ball, on top of the ball, and slip. It went underneath me, I slipped. My knee gave way, essentially. I kind of folded quite quickly. I think even if it had been my other leg, it probably would have done a lot of damage. Obviously, being this leg, and like you said, within a year of the last one, is probably not. It could have been a better time to do it, basically.
You mentioned the surgeon, so how quickly from doing the injury have you managed to see him? And you said about messages. What did they say?
I've tried to get on with it as quick as possible, because one of the biggest things I struggled with last year was like I said, the unknown. Being in the dark about not knowing if it requires surgery, if it does require surgery, how I'm going to fund that surgery. And I've kind of been quite proactive. I got myself a scan. The club's helped with seeing the surgeon. Obviously, everything costs money, and financially not in a position to do that right now. The surgeons basically said that it's going to require 2 surgeries this time, and that would mean using part of my hip to graft into my knee so that he can re-drill and basically redo my ACL with part of my hamstring. It's a lot to take in because obviously I'm going to be less stable on that side of my body now, and it's always going to be in the back of my mind mentally that it's not exactly the same as the other one. So I think everything I've tried to do is just get on with it as quick as possible so I can just be in the know and at least start my recovery period, because that's the biggest thing for me right now, is not sure if I'm able to even start my recovery period, and it's been such a long time. I don't want it to be any longer.
Could you talk us through your rehab from when you did it originally after the Bournemouth game?
Yeah, so initially I found the first part the toughest. Obviously the winter months I didn't manage to get my surgery till October. And then I was quite immobile after surgery. I couldn't work for a couple of months. Obviously on using crutches and building back up. The club like Bath were really good with the rehab. The PFA helped. I managed to get up to St George's Park and a couple of times and do some rehab there, which was amazing. Really built my confidence up, and moving into the summer felt completely fine to come back, really. Obviously the break from over the summer made me feel confident that I'd had enough time had passed to get back out on the pitch. I was building it back up slowly. I didn't feel like I'd rushed it too much. I mean, the only thing that obviously is going to cross your mind is I was out of contract, so for me I was fighting for a contract as well and giving my all to come back in and get a contract. And then whether it was too early or it was just another freak accident, which has been a bit of a kick in the teeth, as I said earlier, along with the insurance not paying out, because my previous injury was within a year of my last one. So that's why I'm really trying to do the GoFundMe. I've spoken to the PFA to try and get some extra funding, but just every little helps.
So you've done the GoFundMe page as well. I think last time we looked, over £6,000 already in around 24 hours. You must just be overwhelmed by that.
I mentioned earlier to you guys that it's absolutely incredible. I never would have imagined it would have took off like that. All the lads, everyone around the club's been so supportive. To even see people I used to play with, people that might still be in the game, people that I don't even know, like obviously fans. I think just it's given me a massive boost as well mentally to see that level of support. It's not just about the money, everybody sharing, getting as many eyes on it as possible. Hopefully can get out to as many people as possible, and just everybody can keep sharing, donating whatever they can to help me, because from what I've been told by the surgeon, and in my mind this could be don't want to say it, but it could be the end of my career if I can't get the surgery I require.
You had, apart from the donations, any messages as well from former players, current
players?
players?
Like I said, I mean, the messages are even just as mean as much as anything else, and the amount of support from, like I said, the amount of people is just overwhelming. It's incredible. I never expected to get that much. I even didn't set the GoFundMe target as high as I actually required, because I thought I'd get nowhere near it. I thought it would be too much asking for the whole cost of the surgery, and obviously the rehab after and the loss of income, like, it's a lot of money, and I understand that. I just wanted to get as much as possible to help me in move forward with my career, and to see so many people willing to give anything just meant so much to me, and does mean so much to me.
How do you keep yourself going mentally as well? It just must be so, but nearly 12 months you've not been able to play. You know it's going to be a lot longer now. I know you've come along to matches. Have you just got anything which keeps you going, really?
The club have been brilliant. The players, my family, my friends, everybody around me that supports me is massive. I mean, even the GoFundMe, I realised I'm not able to do it on my own. I like to think I'm quite resilient and I can tackle things on my own quite independently, and I just kind of realised that asking for help isn't necessarily a weakness. It shows strength, and that the amount of people willing to help has given me such a confidence boost, such a boost mentally, just to show me how many people there are that are supporting with my journey and willing to or wanting to see me back out on the pitch, because ultimately that's the only thing I want, really, is just to be back out there. Like you said, it's been a year, and last year was probably the toughest year I thought I'd ever have to go through, having to watch so many games from the stands. I'd say every fan loves it, but every fan probably wants to be on the pitch as well. Like, it's very, very tough for me to take and then have to go through again. I struggle to find words to ultimately describe what I'm feeling. I just like to stay as positive as possible, think as positive. I mean, even when I told you I fell and I got up, I was trying to think as positively as possible, and spoke to fans around the club and was trying to keep a brave face and show that I felt all right and it might be all right. And like I said, just to hear some things I've heard is just very, very tough for me mentally.